Previously on Jordan and Zwolf's Cyberpunk Adventures.
Hello, I'm Ashes. You will review Sonic Adventure.
Well, I will make you play Sonic Shuffle.
Wait a minute, I don't remember this happening. What's with the Demon Chow plush? And also those new outfits?
Oh, we decided to change our looks between episodes. It has been a couple months. And this Demon Chow plush came out of nowhere and is now demanding we play Sonic Adventure.
Fair enough.
Anywho, no.
What do you mean? No.
We were meant to start cleaning and reorganizing the store after our latest adventure.
Excuses. You will play Sonic Adventure or...
Well, that's that.
I found this robotic armor thingy and I thought it could help.
Well, I expected to clean and organize the store today, not to literally rebuild it from a mishap with mechanical armor from Sakura Wars. Well, that armor is from the original series, Sakura Wars 2 to be the exact. The one we've been playing is the soft reboot from 2019/2020. Yeah, they've been really promoting it a lot lately. Either because they want to simply promote it, / the series, or Sakura Wars really didn't do well sales-wise and they're trying to increase sales. Yeah, which is really frustrating because we wanted to review this game either on a PC or the Xbox One in our office, but we were forced to play it out here on the PS4 display unit, which for a title like Sakura Wars, given some of its more questionable moments.
ということは、このお風呂は女湯。
Regardless, Zwolf and I consider it an experience that, while not perfect, is still really fantastic, and we would like to share with you why we think that. And, we might be here a while cleaning up after Bob 18.
I'm sorry, okay?
So, everyone remembers the last video I made, right? Where I spent 20 minutes talking about how the SEGA Saturn was a complete dumpster fire in North America? Well, as I alluded to in that video, because when launched on November 22nd, 1994 in Japan, it was a success. Not only that, but the SEGA Saturn was the most successful console released by SEGA. It had an enormous library of quality titles that never saw release outside the country. One of those titles was Sakura Wars. Sakura Wars was a weird combination of a romantic visual novel and turn-based role-playing game, set in an even weirder world where young women control mechanical mechs in an alternate 1920s Japan. Despite said weirdness, it was insanely successful in Japan. It was followed up with several more sequels, including Sakura Wars 2, Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning, and Sakura Wars 4, So Long, My Love. Hi there everyone, Jordan here on a crappy microphone because I made such a huge mistake I had to correct it. Sakura Wars 4 is not So Long, My Love, it's Fall in Love Maidens. There was a Sakura Wars 5, So Long, My Love. Anyway, back to the original footage I shot. There was anime, live shows, merchandise. Sakura Wars became a cultural phenomena of sorts in Japan, but it would never see the same love in North America. This is in spite of an admirable effort by NIS America to localize Sakura Wars 5 in 2010. It just didn't see the sales numbers SEGA was hoping for. Furthermore, the series was actually put into stasis 2 years earlier by SEGA due to declining sales. Even if the localization of Sakura Wars 5 was successful, the series' fate was already sealed. So, it went off to be with the other dormant SEGA series, until Haruki Satomi came to head a newly reorganized SEGA. Ever since then, there have been several remasters or revivals of older SEGA franchises, stuff you wouldn't think ever happened, like Streets of Rage 4 and Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. I can't attribute him solely for this, there's likely others involved and this strategy might have occurred earlier, but it nonetheless is undeniable that SEGA has been more interested in its older properties again. Sakura Wars is one of these, and it's flipping amazing it even exists, but even more amazing that it was localized into English. Well, localized in terms of subtitles and stuff like that. I'll talk more about that later. But this is the context of Sakura Wars, a revival of a beloved series that never saw the same success outside of Japan, and a component of a larger revival strategy with SEGA. So, let's start off with the story of this thing. Sakura Wars focuses on Sergio Kamiyama. Did I get that right, Zwolf? I'll do my best with the names of these characters, folks, but keep in mind, I'm not Japanese, and Zwolf is the one currently studying it. Focuses on Sergio Kamiyama, who becomes the new captain of the down-on-its-luck Flower Division in Tokyo. He also has to deal with the rise of demons, a demon who's so obvious I can't believe this game actually played it up as a big reveal, rivals, and enchanted swords. But that's alright, cause Kamiyama can date members of the Flower Division. Oh wait, that has issues too, oh no! True, and obviously there is a bit more to it than that. Sakura Wars is divided into several chapters, with them arguably focusing on either one of the members of the Flower Division or an event such as the Combat Review World Games. The storyline feels like any typical anime you've ever seen, with the typical tropes of the medium and things like that. For instance, the story twist of the character Anastasia Palma, who is presented as being gorgeous and out of place compared to the rest of the Flower Division, being a double agent for the antagonist, comes from a mile away. I can't complain too much though, since the title wears that influence proudly, where it's the occasional anime cutscenes, the cool "next time on Sakura Wars" stingers at the end of most chapters, and the folks who worked on it being legendary figures in the medium such as Tite Kubo, the creator of Bleach, working on the designs of the main characters. But that doesn't mean that these anime influences and tropes are bad. In fact, it's honestly what makes Sakura Wars so charming. And it does feature moments that were interesting on their own accord, such as the entire chapter that focuses on the ninja Azami, or one of the main villains named Yakusha not being a brainwashed Sakura Shinji, the original protagonist of Sakura Wars, that was hinted throughout. Overall, it reminds me of the days that I would watch dubbed anime on the weekdays on the Toonami block on Cartoon Network. Except you're reading a lot more subtitles. Oh, that is one thing. This entire story is told in Japanese with English subtitles, which, while happy the original voice work is intact, it can be a bit much having to read so much text. I know this falls into the whole subtitles versus dubbing debate that is still alive and well in the anime community, but in my opinion, having the option of the latter would have likely been better, albeit knowing that it would take several years then for Sakura Wars to be released in North America in English. The other aspect of the story worth mentioning is the different ways the story is told. Sometimes it's through in-engine cutscenes with full voice acting, sometimes it is absolutely stunning anime cutscenes, and then other times it's the first one but with no voice acting, and then lastly there are anime images with voice work. I understand that there were likely budget considerations behind the existence of the latter two presentations, but it leads to a lack of consistent presentation at times. Despite these, at least to me, minor complaints, I still felt that the story of Sakura Wars was a charming and enjoyable one. Correct, and for the most part, that is the case. Sakura Wars is split into two different gameplay styles, with the first mainly centering around the exploration of the steampunk version of Ginza, Tokyo, and the live and interactive picture system, or LIPS. Basically, this is the romantic dating simulator portion / trust building segment of Sakura Wars. You complete quests and side quests by interacting with characters and occasionally having a dialogue option or to say a line in a different tone that will influence how the other characters will respond. Frankly, I found LIPS to be incredibly frustrating at times due to unclear dialogue options that you might think is fine, and then it slaps you over the head for making that choice. An example is early on in the game when you meet this character named Clarice, and have 3 different choices on how to snap her out of her book. I chose option 3, which to my horror was a lewd choice, and Sakura Wars slapped me over the head for making that choice. There are moments like these throughout Sakura Wars, and it makes the experience frustrating at times. I'm unsure why this is the case. It could be a translation issue, or the lack of a broad indicator like Western titles such as Fallout 4 that would tell you broadly what that choice means. It doesn't help Sakura Wars doesn't have a function that will allow you to try different options either by a chapter select after completing the game, or allowing you to have save states without having to repeat a lot of what you just did. Besides that, there is the exploration stuff, and it occasionally mixes things up, like finding for clues or a specific character within a time limit. It doesn't wear out its welcome too much, thankfully, because when the time is right, it moves on to the next style, which is mecha combat. Yup, this is actually what Zwolf loves the most about Sakura Wars. She's been a fan of mechs for a long time. Hey, maybe one day. Anyways, combat portions of Sakura Wars is similar to another game series called Dynasty Warriors, where you have large groups of enemies and you have to take them all down in spectacular style. I absolutely adored these sections, because there's just something so cool about taking down wave after wave of tons of enemies, which would become chaotic and really freaking fun. One of my complaints though is the combos are a bit underbaked, where it's much easier to just button mash rather than to take the time to learn the combos. The other complaint I had was the seemingly overpowered nature of Kamiyama's mech, to such a degree where we found ourselves using this mech over anybody else in the Flower Division. This could be because Zwolf and I like melee combat in games, and we do like to get up close and personal. That's true too. It would have been nice to have the game to incentivize using other characters during these segments, but they were nonetheless fun and just the right amount of difficulty. Besides the exploration, romantic dating simulator, and mech combat segments, there are other activities you can do, such as side missions, playing a type of card game called Koi Koi, collecting cards, and a combat simulator. I didn't find myself doing these activities as much due to time constraints with this video and my lack of interest in them, but I'm sure someone might take a liking to them, and it does extend how much time you will spend with Sakura Wars. Right, it's not perfect, and we feel that its exclusivity to the PS4 and its current high price for this kind of game might turn off some folks, but we nonetheless recommend it. We enjoyed our time with this Flower Division and look forward to more content surrounding them, whether that be more games or anime. But I can't help but wonder when one day we in the West will get to experience the original Flower Division from those games that define the Sega Saturn.
You
Pause.
You think you can trap me in a box? I cannot be contained. I cannot die. You will play the glorious and perfect game known as Sonic Adventure, or I...
Phew. Thanks, Bob 18. So, does anyone want ice cream next door?
Heck yeah!